Hello, I'm Rachel Wade, the founder and creator of Pura Vida Your Life. And I help people who are either doing well in their life and they feel that they want more and that their life lacks a certain sense of fulfillment, or people whose backs are against the wall and they are in deep despair of their life. So maybe you've lost your way and you need to rediscover your unique self. And as a coach, I empower people to rediscover their uniqueness. I believe that we all have a uniqueness and special gifts, and I help them to achieve happiness, health, and fulfillment in their greatest life yet, in all areas of their life. And I help people to bring their whole self into the game of life. So why not take your first step on your journey of empowerment today and start improving your life? So this video is about what does good health and well-being mean? And I'm going to talk about that in more detail and share 3 golden nuggets to help you to improve your life straight away. And they are: number 1, check in with your health. Number 2, where's the needle on your well-being? And number 3, reframe unhelpful thoughts. So more about those in a moment. But what does good health mean? You know, I asked a question on my social media this week, and there were some various viewpoints of what that meant, but it's all quite individual to us. So let's start with that. Let's think about, what does good health mean? And what thoughts does that conjure up when you think of the word health? We can consider health to mean wholeness, a person who is whole and of sound mind and is well, meaning that if you're healthy, then you are whole in every sense of the word. It could be, excuse me, that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So the Greek physician said that we must turn to nature, to the observations of the body in health and in disease, to learn the truth. And a wise man should consider that health is the greatest of human blessings, and learn how, by his own thought, to derive benefit from his illness. Well, I have to agree with that in some aspects. And physical health should not mean good, whole, healthy body, which is healthy because of regular exercise. So that's any type of exercise that you want to do. It's about good nutrition. It's about lots of good, clean water. It's about sunshine, a nervous system that functions at 100% with no interferences, and adequate rest. So that's what physical health should mean: a whole healthy body in every sense of it. And the principles of good health. So the main principle of good health is being aware of you and your body's needs, in really knowing yourself, reading the signs and the symptoms before they fully develop, and taking action sooner to look after yourself, being kind and compassionate to yourself. Dis-ease befalls all of us when we are stressed, and we have at some point in our lives been stressed. Many people live with chronic stress every single day. And stress can have many causes, such as the external sources that we have less control over. So it could be a stressful job, a relationship, financial difficulties, bereavement, and there's so many more. And the external stressors that often impact and contribute to internal stressors of the body, such as dehydration, poor food choices, exposure to toxic chemicals, overproduction of stress hormones and hormone imbalances, and more reasons, which can then lead to acute or chronic disease. So, what we need to do is learn about stresses, learn about what stresses your body and you, learn from your mistakes and your achievements, read the signs and the symptoms, and adapt or change what you are doing if required. So, this is about you really tuning in to who you are and really understanding your body. So, we often know when we have pushed ourselves too much and you've overdone it too much, or something is going wrong. But we always tend to ignore the signals, don't we? We keep carrying on. But what you need to do is develop your self awareness so that you become more aware of what you are doing and what your interactions are with others and how they're impacting on you. Raising this awareness increases the sensitivity of our own inner body and will help us to maintain health and inner equilibrium, helping us to sense our body's innate intelligence and to also to better listen to it and to respond to the body's needs. By becoming more aware of our body, we can more easily rely upon inner guidance to help us decide what we need to do to maintain well-being and good health. Ultimately, this will also help us in our quest to become more self-reliant, where we look for inner a cue rather than outer guidance. So, what is well-being? Well, well-being could be considered as the state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. And it's important to realize that well-being is a much broader concept than a moment-to-moment in happiness. While it does include happiness, it also includes other things, such as how satisfied people are with their whole life and their sense of purpose and how in control they feel. Therefore, well-being could be considered as well-being can be understood as how people feel and how they function, both on a personal and a social level, and how they evaluate their lives as a whole in its entirety. Most people would agree that well-being is something that they strive towards. I'm sure that we all do, I do. But once we look beyond what defines well-being, it's difficult to drill down into what exactly well-being really means to people day to day and the factors that may influence them, both internal and external. And well-being has many components such as mental, psychological, social, emotional, and spiritual. And there is much crossover in the components of well-being and good health. And social well-being is a sense of belonging to a community and making a contribution to society. Emotional well-being means feeling good, being happy, experiencing positive emotions like love and joy or compassion, and feeling generally satisfied with life. And spiritual well-being can include feeling connected to a higher power, a sense of meaning or purpose, or feelings of peace or transcendence. It's been described that well-being as a resource for healthy living, so that's what we could say well-being is, and well-being is a positive state of health, and that it's more about the absence of illness that enables us to function well, either psychologically, physically, and socially. So, in other words, well-being is described as enabling people to develop their potential. That's through work and their productivity, their creativity, from positive relationships with others, and meaningful contribution to the community. And well-being can take on many forms, but a useful description is feeling good and functioning well and feeling happy is a part of well-being, but far from the whole. There is a deeper kind of well-being, which is about living in a way that is good for you and good for others around you. It's important to understand that well-being or being well as something you do rather than something you are. It's all about the habits, you see. And the things we do and the way we think can have a big impact on our life and our experience. Deeper well-being includes feelings of happiness, contentment, enjoyment, curiosity, and engagement with the community and their characteristics of someone who has a positive experience on their life. Equally important to well-being is our capacity to psychologically function well in this world, maintaining positive relationships, having some control over your life, and having a sense of purpose, self esteem, and self confidence. Well-being does not only mean that you never experience feelings or situations that you find difficult, but what it does mean is that you feel that you can cope with the tough times. So that's an explanation of what I believe good health and well-being means, but you may have a different interpretation, but that's probably give you some good context around that. So now here are my 3 golden nuggets for helping you to live a happier, healthier and fulfilled life. So number 1, check your health. So it's time to look after you, probably more time than ever right now. Check in with how you are doing today and every day to feel better and to be a healthier you. This isn't something you do as a one off, it's something that you're constantly aware of. And by completing an assessment, you will have a clearer picture of the areas that you can excel in with your health and the areas that need some additional focus and work. And it's all important to take an honest assessment, as this will really help you to reflect on various components of your health that maybe you've not thought much about. So here's my top tip. Score yourself 1 to 10, 1 being low and 10 being high, on how often you think the following statements describe you. Number 1, which is in relation to physical health, I am happy with my body size and weight. Number 2, which is to do with social health, when I meet people, I feel good about the impression I give. Number 3, which is emotional health, I find it easy to laugh, cry, and show emotions like love, fear, and anger, and try to express these in positive and constructive ways. And number 4, environmental health. I am concerned about environmental pollution and actively try to preserve and protect natural resources. Number 5, in relation to spiritual health, I believe that life is a precious gift that should be nurtured. And number 6, in relation to intellectual health, I carefully consider my options and possible consequences as I make choices in life. So score each of those from 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high, on how often you think the following statements describe you. So golden nugget number 2, where's the needle on your well-being? So in today's world, the phrase I'm fine when we get asked is the most overused statement when anyone asks you how you are. I bet that you've done that recently. It's an easy answer and for the most part gets people off your back. And the problem with that is that we have become programmed to give that response when in fact we really aren't fine at times. And at that point, it's imperative to take inventory of our own lives and ask ourselves some questions to assess how we feel and what really is the state of our well-being. So my top tip here is there's some questions to ask yourself to gauge where the needle is on your well-being. And I would suggest that you spend some time journaling your answers to these questions and be totally honest with yourself. So number 1, how am I sleeping? Number 2, how am I? Number 3, on average, how is my mood? Number 4, what is the state of my living space? Number 5, when is the last time I laughed? Number 6, when is the last time I spent time with people I love? Number 7, how is my diet? Number 8, am I engaged in behaviors that make me feel bad about myself? And number 9, how are my finances? And number 10, what are my goals? So those are really poignant questions to ask yourself. And then golden nugget number 3 is reframe unhelpful thoughts. So the way that we think, feel and behave are all linked. They're all linked together. And sometimes we develop patterns of thoughts or behaviors that are unhelpful. So recognizing them and taking steps to think about things differently can improve your mental health and your well-being. So my top tip here is you can influence what you think, feel and how you behave. Break the cycle to improve your health and well-being. And the best way to do this is to, number one, recognize them when those things come up. Number two is challenge them, really look for the evidence that may support them, if they're truth or not truth. And then number three is to see if you can replace them, is another a way for you to address the situation that you're in, whatever you're thinking, feeling, or behaving. And this takes some practice, but it will help you to look at perceived problems from a different perspective and help you to live a happier and healthier life. So let's summarize those golden nuggets again. Number one, check your health. Number two, where's the needle on your well-being? And number three, reframe from unhelpful thoughts. So discover the key to good health and well-being. Good health and well-being are all about the mind as well as the body, from feeling physically fit and feeling good about ourselves, which means that we can go on and achieve more things that we want to do in our life. And staying in good health is important to us, and it can become partially important in later, more important in later years. And the best way to stay healthy, physically, mentally, spiritually, is by learning how to take care of yourself. In our hectic lives, it can sometimes be difficult to find the motivation, the time. How many times have I had people say to me they haven't got the time? And the energy. And that's another thing. People say I haven't got the energy, which is probably more of a reason to get focused on these things and to make those few key changes in our lives. We're all human. However, a bit of effort can pay off in many ways in dividends. And I wonder, did you set some New Year's resolutions? New year, new me, and all that jazz? Well, if those good intentions have become a long distant memory, then now is the time to make those all important changes in your life. So now why not join me for my free 2-hour workshop to achieve and maintain a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. This will be held over Zoom on Sunday the 21st of March at 4 p.m. So if you'd like to join me, please register and you will be sent an email with joining instructions. And you can book your place by going to my website, puravidayourlife.com, and you will see events there, and then click the link there, or you will find the event on the Pura Vida Your Life Facebook page, and you can click the link there and go and register. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next week for Pura Vida Your Life happenings, for insight, inspiration and more golden nuggets to help you live a happier, healthier and fulfilled life. And I invite you to come on a journey of empowerment with me. Sign up to Discoveries to start taking steps to improve your life, and you can find that on my website, puravidayourlife.com. Or why not become a Pura Vida Your Life member to discover an even wider range of inspiring resources and tools. So that's it for this week. Pura Vida Your Life, it all starts with you. Until next time, Pura Vida.